Hey everybody, welcome back to my Slice of Heaven. I'm Joey. You can guess what time of year it is again. It is time to cold stratify some chestnuts. This year, although the chestnuts were plentiful, they were hard to get a hold of. I should say they were hard to get a hold of any nuts from named cultivars. It seems like nobody was selling them, or it already sold out early this year. But I did manage to get my hands on a few pounds. Nothing like last year. I think last year I planted like 20 to 25 pounds of nuts. This year, or stratified 20 to 25 pounds of nuts. This year I've only got 7 pounds of nuts. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I've done this video a few times in the past, and I just want to refresh everybody's memory because this is one of the questions I get asked the most is how do you stratify chestnuts? Well, first of all, you want to get some peat moss, and you want to make it damp to where it just holds together like this. Hope you can see that. But if you touch it, it just falls apart. That's damp, but not wet. And you cannot squeeze any water out of it. It just kind of holds its shape until you touch it or drop it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put like about an 1.5 to 2 inch layer of this peat moss in the bottom of this tray. And we'll probably just do 2 layers of each. Now, first nuts I have here, these are the Gideon. These are nuts from a grafted Gideon tree. So they will not make an actual Gideon tree, they will make seedlings of a Gideon. And I'm going to go ahead and move you closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. And you'll see the chestnuts kind of have a humped side and a flat side. You want to put the flat side down. You do not want it to touch the plastic edges. Some of them are flat on both sides. This was probably the middle nut. And if you look closely at the tip, you can see where it kind of like, I'm sorry, I didn't even have you on screen. But this is flat on both sides. But if you look at the very tip here, you can see where it kind of points down a little bit. And that's my judgment anyway of how to put it in there. And you can plant these fairly close together. You just do not want them to touch. And I don't know if I had this on the screen the first time, but you can see it's rounded up here and flat on the bottom. Put the flat side down. Got 18 in that first row. I could have put them a lot closer together, but I don't really have a whole lot of these nuts this year, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Then you put about another inch or 2. And you start your second layer. And I bought 7 different kinds of nuts, 1 pound of each nut. And these Gideon nuts, you get about 36 a pound. And I also get asked a lot, how much do I pay for these nuts? How much do they sell for? How much do they go for? Well, it all depends on what you're buying them for and who you're getting them from. If you are looking specifically for nuts from named cultivars, you can look to pay $20 a pound or more. If you're just looking for edible chestnuts, you could probably just find them for as low as $3 to $4 a pound. But in most cases, they're $5 to $10 a pound. And for my Gideons here, I got 38 of them in the pound. So I'll just put a little bit more on top of there. If you have any questions about stratifying chestnuts, just leave me a comment below, or you can email me at mysliceofheavenoutdoors@gmail.com. Hey guys, last year we had just a Chinese chestnut in this we got from Valley Chestnut. We're going to cross that off. And this time we're doing a red Gideon. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller too, because I'm going to be using these containers for many years. And I got to save room to be able to write on this in the future. Today's date is the 7th, I believe. November 7th, 2022. And we had 38 nuts. And this one is ready for the fridge. When you are stratifying nuts or any nuts in the fridge, I believe chestnuts, I don't know about any other nuts, but I'm pretty sure they're probably all close to the same. I believe you want to keep these between 34 and 38 or 40 degrees. Let's just say 34 to 40 degrees. The colder you store these, the closer to the 34 degree mark, the less they will grow inside this container. So if you keep it like right at 34, 33 degrees, somewhere right in there, you don't want to go below freezing or at freezing. But if you put it right there, when you pull these nuts out in the spring to go to plant them, they may not even have germinated enough to where you can see the radicle coming out. The warmer it is, the longer that sprout will be come spring. I try to keep mine just a hair above freezing, because I don't want them to grow too much in this container and get all twisted up. But I'm going to go ahead and put these in the fridge, and we will start the next ones. We'll go a little bit faster on the next ones because you've already seen the steps on this one. Again, we'll start with our next ones. Again, we just put 1.5 inches to 2 inches of damp peat moss in the container. I choose all my nuts depending on how they performed in the past. So I try to get chestnuts from named cultivars that I know will perform well in my area. And they will have to have certain characteristics, like they'll have to be sweet, they'll have to be tasty, they'll need to be easy peeling, and like I believe the Gideons, I've been told that they're pretty drought resistant. They have some drought resistance to them. All Chinese chestnuts, which is the only thing that I grow, have some level of blight resistance. And if you remember from the very first stratification video I did, we talked about the, and I'll leave a video of that up here. We talked about the blight wiping out the American chestnut. And a lot of people ask me, well, why don't I grow American chestnut? I just don't want to put all the time and effort into my orchard, and then they get blight and die back years down the road. I'm going to try to plant stuff that actually have blight resistance, and hopefully I won't have to worry about that in the future. Or if I do get it, that the tree will be able to fend for itself and heal itself and keep on growing. These nuts here are called Hong Kong. Again, another very tasty nut. Honestly, I have not tried these Hong Kong nuts yet, but I've been told it's very tasty. It should make a very good orchard tree. We got the first level down. We'll go ahead and do the second level layer. And guys, I'm not going to go through I'm not going to show you how to stratify every one of these packages of nuts I got. I think this will be enough. But I will talk about the rest of the nuts in the description. So if you're curious about which ones I'm planting and why, again, you can leave a comment, or you can email me at mysliceofheavenoutdoors@gmail.com. Now these nuts on the Hong Kong was a little bit bigger than the Gideon, so I believe we will have less nuts per pound. We'll see here in a minute. That's a nice big nut there. I can't wait in the future to see chestnuts just hanging from the branches of my trees after putting all the work and time and effort into the orchard. And as I thought we would have less, so on the Hong Kong, we had 31 nuts per pound. Again, we just top them up, cover them up, and get them ready for the sleep for the winter in a nice cold refrigerator. And cross this top name out like we did last time. And this time it'll be Hong Kong. 1107, 22, 32 nuts. And now we'll move these out to the refrigerator and we'll come back and talk a little bit more. Well guys, as I continue to keep stratifying my chestnuts, just want to go over a few key points with you when you're stratifying chestnuts or any other nut. When you first get your nuts, you want to put them in the refrigerator. You want to keep them cool. You don't want to let them dry out. When you're ready to plant or stratify, make sure you get a good peat moss. Again, make sure it's damp but not wet. This will help cut back on the mold in the refrigerator while you're stratifying them over winter. And you should have pretty good results. Also, remember to keep your refrigerator set at about 34 degrees. Anywhere between 34, 38, I think you can even go up to 40, I'm not sure. But let's just say 34 to 38, and that will be optimum stratifying temperature for your chestnuts. Again, you do not want to let them touch each other when you put them in the stratify. Some people do, they have pretty good results. A lot of people will tell you not to let them touch. And the reason for that is in case one of them gets mold, it doesn't spread to the other one. A refrigerator for 34, if your refrigerator, like I have mine outside, so sometimes it does freeze and I'll open these up like once a month to check on them. And I will see a layer of ice or frost in there. We had several of them that actually had ice in the container of nuts this spring when we planted. We just let them thaw out and they all did fine. But you try to avoid that if you can. Then leave them in there until you're ready to plant them, either outside or under a grow light. It takes at least 90 days. So I know this is November. We won't take ours out of the fridge until very end of March, early April. Excuse me. Because we go right from the fridge right to outside, so we have to wait for all signs of frost to be gone. But that's it, guys. It's pretty simple. You will probably have mistakes if you try it the first time. You probably will have some that get mold and such. My first year, if you remember that video, or I'll put it up here again, but I had quite a bit of mold on those nuts. This is my 4th year doing this. My 2nd year, I think I only had like 2 that had mold, and all the rest of them germinated. This past year, I didn't see any sign. I had a little bit of mold around the edges, but no visible signs of mold on the nuts. And I think we only had, out of the 700 nuts, we only had like 4 or 5 that didn't germinate. Well, that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Guys, if you want to help me out and share this video, it'll get to a lot of people that want to try this for themselves, I would definitely appreciate that. Give me a thumbs up and share this video if you don't mind. Well, guys, if you like this video, again, give me a thumbs up and hit that share button. Maybe you didn't like the video, but you just like me. In which case, give me a thumbs up and share this video anyway. It helps me out and it makes me feel good. And until next time, guys, you all have a great day.